all employers, as they know, have to fill out what's called a Form I-9 for any new employee who's starting to work at their company. I think what employers may not understand fully, though, is how important this form and their compliance to this form really is. The Form I-9 is actually an immigration form, and it's been around since the mid-1980s, and most employers, I think, do comply with at least filling out the form, but I think it gets lost in the whole human resources process when they're onboarding a new employee. There are all kinds of forms to fill out. There are all kinds of introductions to be made and onboarding to do, and they fill out the I-9, but they may not be as diligent in completing it correctly and keeping track of all their employees. But the consequences are really very dire if the Immigration and Customs Enforcement agency wants to do an audit of the I-9s. I-9 audits by Immigration and Customs Enforcement have been on the rise for several years now, and especially in the last 2 or 3 years with the Trump administration. Every company, whether you have 5 employees or 500, really needs to be very diligent about filling out these forms. The lack of completing the right forms, the lack of being diligent in how they're completed can result in very severe monetary penalties, which could really crush a small company. So we are finding definitely an increase in I-9 audits. There's been an increase in audits of companies in certain industries where there tend to be a lot of undocumented workers, like the restaurant industry or the manufacturing industry. So we suggest some tips for employers to prepare for such an audit, or to make sure that they're at least following these practices diligently. One is getting excellent training for their HR staff. Many small companies actually don't have a human resources person or division, and this task of completing the I-9 and making sure they're compliant falls to someone who really has no expertise. So a company really has to train whoever is doing this process very well in how to complete the form and how to maintain it. We also suggest that employers do an internal audit of their own I-9s before they even get a letter from immigration. Do it themselves, and just to make sure that they're doing everything properly. In this climate of increased enforcement by immigration, it's crucial for employers to make sure that they are maintaining their I-9 forms and everything that they are doing to maintain compliance with the immigration regulations.